the first flight back in November 2016.
I look at science fiction as the people that try to challenge us to build something better. So jetpacks are science fiction and science fact.
Hello and welcome to the world of Where's My Jetpack? Back in the 1960s, we were promised everything from jetpacks to flying cars and holidays in space. But here we are in the 21st century with not a jetpack in sight. So what happened to those space-age dreams? I'm Sarah Cruddas.
And I'm Luke Moore.
And together we'll be taking you on a mission to find out. Each episode we will explore a different futuristic promise that never was, to find out if it was all just science fiction, if these great inventions are just around the corner. From hoverboards and space hotels to aliens in deep space, we'll be answering some of the biggest space-related questions of our time. We'll also be joined by experts who are at the cutting edge of these different fields. From scientists and inventors to former and current astronauts, they'll help us to work out whether each invention is science fiction or science prediction. This is episode 1, Where's My Jetpack? So Luke, today we're talking about the jetpack, which is pretty much the most iconic contraption of the space age, which people back then, as far as the 1960s, thought we'd almost certainly have by now.
Yeah, and I'm super excited about this one because I think with jetpacks, there's a very, very direct link between all the dreams you have as a child, and some people have them in their literal dreams as adults of flying, right? So I can totally see, when I was doing the prep for this episode today, I can see why this one resonates with so many people and why it was planted as a seed of an idea in someone's mind very, very early on, because let's face it would be absolutely amazing to have that kind of freedom, wouldn't it?
Have you ever wanted your own jetpack?
Oh, 100%. 100%. And I don't know what the interpretation of dreams are when you feel like you're flying. I don't quite know what that is, but it's clearly very, very common. And I think to have that freedom would be amazing. I mean, you only got to watch kind of Iron Man or read a comic from back in the day and realise that it would be incredible. And this is great because it feeds into this theme of the whole series, which is that time of great optimism in the mid-20th century with scientific development just going at such a pace and everyone thinking those kind of science fiction ideas of the future back in the 50s and 60s are so different to what it is actually like in life now that it's hard not to be a little bit disappointed.
Well, yeah, because we jumped into cyberspace instead of outer space. People imagine jetpacks and flying cars, and actually what we got is Deliveroo.
Yeah, I know, right,
and Uber Eats. And these,
which are great, by the way.
Yeah, they're great, but it's not what people couldn't imagine. It's almost like our world of today is beyond the imagination. But in the 60s, you've got to remember, say you were born in the year 1900, just think about what you saw in your lifetime. At 12 years old, you saw the sinking of the Titanic. Then you saw 2 world wars and commercial trips across the Atlantic. Humans went to space and walked on the moon. So a jetpack kind of seemed a bit normal.
Seems quite tame.
Yeah, it feels like something we expected, but we just didn't get that space future we expected. But it doesn't mean that jetpacks aren't potentially around the corner, which is what we're trying to find out.
Exactly. So you're the expert here, though, Sarah. So what do you think? So you think genuinely, I mean, that's a really good sentence. You said we explored cyberspace instead of outer space. Do you genuinely think, because if you go back to, say, the 60s, all the stuff that was going on in the 60s at the same time that cost huge amounts of money, the Vietnam War, the space race, all this kind of stuff, have we kind of not invested in this type of stuff as much because we've just thought, you know what, there's other things that we need to invest in that are going to be more impactful on our lives instead?
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned the space race because that was government funded, and we kind of forget that pushing the limits of exploration was funded by governments. But what we're seeing now is private industry. So all those bold ideas which people came up with first of all, if there wasn't any practical use, governments aren't really going to fund them. But now we're in the entrepreneurial age, the entrepreneurial space age that I like to talk about. So all those bold science fiction ideas, perhaps we just got the timing wrong. And I hope, at least with the jetpack, that this is something which might happen in the future.
Cool. So tell us about where it all started then.
Niagara Falls, April 20th, 1961. Little more than a week after Yuri Gagarin had become the first person to travel to space, and the jetpack takes flight.
Well, that was the day Harold Graham made the first untethered flight in a rocket belt, flying 100 feet across a field near Niagara Falls.
From humble beginnings in science fiction,
Ranger 3 and its pilot, Captain William Buck Rogers, are blown out of their trajectory into an orbit which freezes his life support systems and returns Buck Rogers to Earth 500 years later.
to becoming a reality at the dawn of the space age.
NASA designs a new machine with a chance to fulfill the dream that man can fly in space.
Though that first flight lasted just 13 seconds and took the pilot a distance of just 35 metres, the jetpack age had arrived, or so we thought. But it wasn't called a jetpack. It was instead known as the Bell rocket belt and was invented by Bell Aerospace engineer Wendell Moore, who originally developed it for use by the Army. Wendell also developed different versions of the technology, such as flying chairs and pogo sticks, with the hope that they could be used by astronauts on the moon.
Roger, how does it look? Go ahead, Roger.
But NASA went with the more conventional lunar rover for its Apollo missions, and back on Earth, the rocket belt could still only travel a few hundred meters, meaning there was little practical use.
This is K1DBC. All stations please stand by. The Denver Radio Club Learning Net starts in 5 minutes.
W0TX repeater.
Though the rocket belt kept on flying, it was now more of a gimmick.
Welcome to the opening ceremonies of the Games of the 23rd Olympia at Los Angeles.
And just as easily as a jetpack had come to life as a science fact, it slowly stepped back to science fiction.
No well-dressed man should be the...
Yes, very practical.
That's a fascinating insight into the kind of genesis of jetpacks and where they originally came from. And I was interested, Sarah, about the idea that it first happened in Russia. So I believe I'm right in saying that it was developed as a patent by the late 20s, but originally designed as an idea to monitor troop movements during wars and stuff like that, right?
Do you know, your preparation for this show terrifies me.
Thank you very much.
You messaged me and I was at Thorpe Park going on a roller coaster and you're telling me how much you've prepped about jetpacks, and I'm like, hang on, I'm the expert in this. Like, I'm going to have to preface this as well. Yeah, it came from a patent in the Russia by a Russian inventor nearly 100 years ago now. Didn't actually turn into a jetpack, but really it was in the 1960s. So just a matter of days after Yuri Gagarin had become that first human to orbit the Earth. And you've got to remember, put yourself in the mindset of what it must have been like. We've lived in the space age. We haven't known a time when humans hadn't been in space. But imagine before that, and then suddenly there's a human being in space. And then a matter of days later, 8 days later, a human being's flying a jetpack up in Niagara Falls. It's just incredible, and you can understand why people just assumed they were going to happen, because people were also jetting off to space at the same time. Are you
as a scientist, are you kind of a little bit disappointed that the progress has been so slow in this particular area of jetpacks?
Well, I'm not, but I almost think a jetpack's that kind of connotation with it. When you think about the space age promises, that's the one which kind of, it's rather sexy and appealing. We all wanted these personal jetpacks to escape traffic and just to be able to, as you mentioned earlier, to fly. Yeah. People you think back to Icarus with his wax wings, I think it was, and like humans have dreamed of flying. And then actually Bell Aerospace, I visited the factory and
these were some of the first developers of the modern one.
So Wendell Moore, he was the inventor of the jetpack, not the first patent, of course, he was, but the inventor of the jetpack, the rocket belt, as he called it. And he was based at Bell Aerospace in upstate New York near Niagara Falls. And it's basically a derelict site now. And these people dedicated their lives to innovative technology. They also developed the LLTV, which is the Lunar Landing Training Vehicle, which Neil Armstrong flew. Neil Armstrong, the first person to land on the moon, flew it, crashed it, nearly died, bit his tongue really badly. Right. But that was a way of testing out what it'd be like to fly on the moon. And it was this crazy contraption. So Bell Aerospace was famous for doing that. And now it's left in ruins, and people dedicated their life to something that never happened when they genuinely thought these mad inventions they were developing would come to fruition.
Yeah, and talk to me about Bill Suter, because we can't talk about jetpacks and the genesis of them without talking about Bill, who is a fascinating character and who I believe through quite weird circumstances became the first guy to fly a jetpack, or a rocket belt as they called it then. Yeah,
so Bill was one of the first ever flyers. What's the correct term?
Pilot,
Pilots?
I guess.
You a pilot? Like, you don't need a license. That's what's quite frightening. Technically, anyone back then could fly a rocket belt. And I think the best way to describe Bill is to actually hear from the man himself and hear what he has to say.
He's the reason I got hired. I used to cut his lawn. And the Army contract required that they hire someone with no aviation experience. I was 19. I had dropped out of school and was going to join the Army. And he said, no, I got a job for you. And the rest was all history. It's like I lived a dream.
All right, everyone, thanks for joining here on YouTube. Welcome. My name is Daron, K1DBC. No camera this evening, not working due to the heat, but thanks for listening in here to Where's My Jetpack podcast. hosted by Luke Moore and Sarah Crudis on the Stack network. So check that out. Really, really cool series here. So let's get things started here. We'll roll with that a little bit just after this. This is K1DBC. The DRC Learning Net starts in 1 minute. All stations please stand by while the repeaters are placed into net mode.
PL off.
You know, I had no idea where it would lead to. No idea whatsoever. You know, here I am more than 50 years later, still involved in rocket belts.
It's just great stuff. It's great that he happened to be a neighbour of Wendell Moore and happened to cut his grass and wanted to do a different job, as we heard, and then decided, and Wendell Moore was like, no, I've got a job for you.
Well, yeah.
If that was me, Sarah, I'd say, thank you very much for thinking of me, but I'm fine, thanks.
Yeah, but imagine you're 19 years old. It's either mow someone's lawn, join the army, or fly a rocket belt.
What would you choose?
Oh, come on, you'd fly the rocket belt. Like, this is, you know, I know Bill. I've been to his house. I've worked with Bill. Bill has had such an incredible life, and I think it was almost the privilege of those people of that era. They were born at the right time, and they had all these incredible.
All right, once more, Where's My Jetpack podcast? Really awesome series here on Stack Network. So let's get things started here. Good evening. Welcome back to the Denver Radio Club for July 27th, 2022. It's a great place to learn about ham, radio, and STEM topics in general. And thankfully, we have plenty of combined experience and expertise. My name is Daron, Delta Oscar, Romeo Oscar November. My call sign is K1DBC, Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie. I'm Net Control on behalf of the Denver Radio Club for this evening's Learning Net. We meet every Wednesday, except the third Wednesday of the month, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time on 145.490 and 448.625. You can contact us, Elmer, at W0TX.org. We're logged in now. YouTube.com/Denver Radio Club. We do live stream to that. So if you've missed past meetings, past nets, you can check that out. Or if you're not able to check in over the air, you can always check in online. Twitter, Facebook, Denver Radio Club, good activity over there. Discord, and if you want to check in on our official website, W0TX.org/check-in. This is K1DBC Net Control. Again, streaming on YouTube, we do provide some additional context to what we're talking about. Let's see. This net can be broken at any time for emergency or priority traffic by using the word break. Is there currently any priority or emergency traffic at this time? This is K1DBC Net Control. We will begin by inviting Elmers only to check in, with or without traffic. All Elmers, please check in now.
Alpha 0, Juliet Kilo, AA 0JK. Good evening.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. That time we had AA0JK Fred checking in as an Elmer. Thank you for checking in as always. Again, if you have any sort of expertise in some sort of knowledge in part of our hobby, you're always more than welcome to check in as an Elmer. So once more, if you'd like to check in as an Elmer, all Elmers, please check in now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. All other check-ins to the net will be taken in alphabetical groups based on the first letter of the suffix of the operator's call sign. The suffix is the first letter after the number in the call sign. If you can, please try to use ITU phonetics for the call sign at least, and indicate if you have any traffic or questions as you check in. If your suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, please check in now.
W0TX repeater.
This is Kilo Foxtrot 0 Juliet India Charlie, Steve in Denver. I have one question.
All right, interesting to hear that, Larry.
November 1, Golf Uniform Mike, Peter in Littleton.
Kilo 6 Hotel Juliet Victor, K6H JV Tom, Arvada, no traffic.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. We'll hold up there for just a minute. I'm getting a signal report online via YouTube. K0LAI Larry's got you checked in as well, stating poor reception on one of the repeaters there, on the Centennial repeater. So I might try to boost up my wattage here in just a minute. With that, though, we also had KF0JIC Steve with a question, N1GUM Peter, K6HJV Tom, and then there was some sort of packet or digital mode transmission in there from somebody. So if you try to check in and I didn't call your call sign, or if you'd like to check in Alpha through Mike A through M, please check in now.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Foxtrot Papa India, Ron in Lakewood.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. That time we had KF0 FPI Ron. Thank you for checking in. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. We're going to open up the whole alphabet. If you're just tuning in, this is the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net, just a general Q&A about ham radio STEM topics and everything that ham radio covers. So if you'd like to check in, we're taking all call suffixes, all call signs, A through Z. Please check in now with your call sign, your name, and let us know if you have any traffic or questions. Please call now.
Kilo Echo 0, Sierra Uniform Mike, Jonathan, Lakewood, with traffic.
Whiskey Alpha 4, Mike, Bravo Golf, Bob and Aurora.
Kilo Echo 0, November Romeo Echo, Jim in Littleton with traffic.
November 4, November Yankee X-Ray, Sarah in Arvada, no traffic.
Kilo 0 Lima Alpha India, K0 LAI, Larry in Lakewood, and how's my signal?
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. That time we had KE0SUM Jonathan with traffic, WA4 MVG Bob, KE0NRE Jim with traffic, and for NYX Sarah, and K0LAI a little scratchy but coming in just fine there. Want to make sure. Okay. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Appreciate everyone checking in here this evening. In terms of signal reports, other calls are coming in just fine, it seems like, Larry. But yeah, I don't know if it's maybe due to the heat or something, but who knows? And last night we also had a lot of thunderstorms and whatnot. So, but no, your call's coming in, but it's just a little bit scratchy. So this is K1DBC Net Control. Once more, if you'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club at Ham Learning Net, we're taking call suffixes A through Z, Alpha through Zulu. Please check in now with your call sign, your name, and let us know if you have traffic or questions. Please call now.
KE0RH, Chris in Arvada.
Kilo 0, Yankee Echo Sierra, Ken in Broomfield, no traffic.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. That time we had KE0RH, Chris, with the new call sign, it sounds like, and K0YES, Ken. Glad to have you both checking in. Again, it sounds like somebody's radio is sending out, I don't know at the moment, but some sort of signal over the 145490. That is not just analog voice. So if anybody is aware of something that you might have done recently, just see if you could check into that. We want to make sure it doesn't continue throughout the net. So not a big deal, though. We will continue to investigate that. This is K1DBC. Plenty of time to check in and bring things up throughout the net. This is an hour-long conversation. I'll ask once more at the moment. Would anybody like to check in? We're taking all call suffixes, all call signs. Let us know your name, call sign, and let us know if you have any traffic or questions. Please call now.
Hey, sorry, Jerome, that was Alpha Echo 0 Romeo Hotel.
WD0CIV, WD0CIV, Charleston, Denver, no traffic.
Kilo Bravo 3, Victor Charlie Uniform, Robin Thornton, no traffic.
All right, this is Drawn K1DBC. We'll hold up there for just a minute. This is all calls.
WD0CIV.
Kilo Bravo 3, Victor Charlie Uniform, Robin Thornton, no traffic.
Magic of YouTube. All right. This is K1DBC Net Control. Just had to go back and confirm a couple call signs here. Appreciate that. Call correction there. Appreciate that. Chris, AE0RH, got you checked in there. Call corrected there. We had WD0CIV Charles, and then we had KB3VCU Robert. Thank you for checking in. All right. See a few people with some comments and questions in here. Don't hesitate to check in if there's any lull in the conversation, don't hesitate to do that. Plus, I will be calling on people to check in as well throughout the net. So with that, we'll throw it over to KF0JIC Steve with a question. The net is yours. Go ahead.
Yes, this is KF0JIC. I had a question about hamfest. I was looking at the volunteer sign-up sheet. It looks like there are only full-day things. I've never been to hamfest, and I just got my general license, so I need to start looking for HF equipment. I'm also thinking about taking the amateur extra test, so I wondered if there was any possibility of volunteering for part of the day. KF0JIC.
All right, KF0GSC, great question there. Over on our website, W0TX.org/hamfest or volunteer in terms of our upcoming hamfest. It initially would look like that, but once you click on the sign up option for any one of these, really you don't have to select a specific time. You just need to put in what times are you available, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Or 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. more or less. For some of the opportunities, some of them are 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. or something like that, or 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. But in the sign up at the bottom of it, you can put in whatever you'd like. Kathy Vilhauer, K0CRZ, I believe, she is helping out with that. So yeah, we are collating everybody's times that they're available. I should just have it right on the webpage here. N0CRZ, excuse me. Kathy Vilhauer. So you could put in whatever times you're available. So let us know. Yeah, don't let that phase you. You don't have to sign up for the whole day. So hopefully that answers your question and anybody else's question. So KF0GIC, if you have any other follow-up on that or anyone else, go ahead.
KF0JIC, that answered my question. Thanks.
All right, perfect. Sounds good. Yep, we've gotten quite a few people that have stated they have availability. There's a lot of people in kind of the general category, so they'll be probably thrown into some of these other categories. But yeah, we have the examiners, security, prize table, general admission, vendor check-in, meal service, and prep. So if you or if anybody here on this net or anybody you know has any availability, 7, 8 a.m., 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. or so, August 28th, we'd love to have you help with that event, because it is useful for our club to help maintain our repeaters and some of the events that we put on and things like that. So W0TX.org/hamfest. I'll throw it out to the net. Does anybody have any questions in regards to any upcoming volunteer opportunities, hamfest, anything like that? Please call now. I guess quickly to piggyback off that, this is K1DBC Net Control. I guess I can pass a couple things on in regards to something like that. Let me drop here for a moment. Another new page on our website, W0TX.org/nets. You'll see our weekly club nets. You'll see the receive frequencies, transmit frequencies, and times and dates of when our official club nets occur. You'll see under the Learning Net, and as well as under our volunteer page, net control opportunities. So we've always kind of been looking for that, but trying to make that more official now. So if you would like to operate as net control, I have set up opportunities throughout 2023, every Wednesday except for the third Wednesday. So sign up. Let me know how I can help, and I'm happy to help. Let me see if I had put something else on that. Yeah, if you'd like to run our Wednesday night Learning Net, we can assist as little or as much as needed. Help with check-ins. Yeah, contact me, K1DBC at W0TX.org. You don't have to stream over YouTube, obviously. That's not a requirement, but we're just looking for individuals to help run net control for this net. More opportunities, more volunteer opportunities there. So, all right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I'll throw it out to the net. Anybody have any other comments, questions, anything about what we've spoken about so far? Any volunteer opportunities, hamfest, net control, upcoming events? Please call now.
S.t.e.m. Question.
Yeah, KE0 S.t.e.m. Jonathan, go ahead.
Well, I know you know, and now I'll tell everyone else. I have been, I always call him moderator host, but it's net control for a number of nets. So, Drone, what's yours involved as far as commitment to how many months? I mean, you know I've been listening for a long time, and we're both friends. I was just curious.
This is K1DBC Net Control, K0 S.t.e.m. At this moment, there's no commitment for you or anyone else, really, that would want to do this. I wouldn't be completely putting it over to somebody else's plate. I'd still be here, but just spot, just any random spots that you or anybody else listening can fill. Any Wednesday, except for the third Wednesday of the month, that you might be interested or anybody else might be interested in. Just fill in those spots. You know, it takes a village, so hopefully at some point we can get a few of us filling in here, and it'll be a little bit less on one person, but it's not a huge deal. But yeah, appreciate you jumping in there, S.t.e.m. Yeah, it's great to hear that, and yeah, I'm glad to hear those other nets are running well as well. So yeah, net control, I mean, you kind of, if you've listened to this net, you kind of understand the flow. It's pretty casual. We kind of we run off of a script and just ask for questions and call for check-ins, things like that. And the people who call in, you all who participate, kind of make run the net, really, essentially. So yeah, moderation essentially is kind of what's done from our end. So yeah, no real commitment required, and it's pretty casual, and I'm happy to help anybody with the ropes here. So yeah, S.t.e.m. or anybody else in terms of net control duties or volunteer opportunities, let us know. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. I guess I'll just take this opportunity to take any of the further check-ins. Does anybody else want to check into the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net? This is just a general Q&A about ham radio STEM topics in general. So if you'd like to check in, please let us know your call sign, name, and let us know if you have traffic or questions. Please call now.
Not sure if I made it out the last couple of times. KB3, Victor Charlie Uniform, Rob, it's important.
I got you in there. All right.
Kilo 4, Romeo November Yankee, Ronnie and Thornton.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Hold up there for just a second. All right, KB3 VCU. I did get you in there earlier, but not a problem. Yeah, you may not have heard me in there, but yeah, Kilo Bravo 3 Victor Charlie Uniform. Robert, got you checked in. Yeah, I think I've heard you in there in previous nets, and I think I've gotten your call sign incorrectly before, but yeah, KB3 VCU. Robert, got you checked in. And K4RNY, Ronnie, checked in as well, so appreciate everyone checking in here. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Appreciate everyone checking in here. Lively crowd this evening. Let's see. We had some other questions or comments here. Let's see. We had KE0 S.t.e.m. Jonathan. I think you had some additional traffic. If you want to go ahead, please call now or go ahead.
Thanks, Drone. Even you always can learn many things with ham radio, no matter what your level. I'm a general, but that's because I test well. But things I don't know. This is what I need to ask you. When you say the Denver Radio Club is in net mode, does that just mean you're turning off the 100 hertz tone on all the repeaters? Or I was unclear on that.
All right, great question there, Jonathan KE0SUM. Yeah, in terms of the Denver Radio Club repeaters, you know, and I'm sure other clubs maybe call it something a little bit different, slightly different, but in terms of when hosting a net, we put it into net mode, and what that does, it removes the requirement for the 100 hertz PL tone. Additionally, it also removes the timeout function. So normally 90 seconds or so. I don't actually know the exact time, but if somebody were to go over that time, the repeater times out and then locks out for another 60 seconds or so. That is, as far as I know, the two features of net control functionality. Let me know if you have any other follow-up on that or anyone else. Go ahead.
I do have one more, another comment. While I was listening to, the normal things you start at the net with, I looked over the club page, and it's like been redesigned, and I think it looks a whole lot better. KE0SUM.
KE0SUM, Jonathan. Yep, you are right. The website has gone through a bit of a redesign here recently, and we're just trying to bring to light make it less clicks to get the things that you are looking for, and make it more responsive and work better in a smartphone or a desktop or whatever it may be. So appreciate that. Yep. I could maybe bring up some more things on that later, but if anybody has any comments or questions on the website, don't hesitate to get in contact with me, either via, I can't even find it online, I do myself. Under the officers, staff, and volunteers, you'll see a website maintainer, website admin at W0TX.org, or my call sign K1DBC at W0TX.org. Get in contact, and I'm more than happy to help. Our website should just be a kind of more an upgrade from what it was before, but just with newer features. So appreciate you saying that. So everyone check that out. There's a lot of things going on there. I guess in regards to that, let me drop here for a moment. One last thing on that. Incremental updates, W0TX.org/nets. I've now brought into light a little bit maybe not be in its final format, but our Yahoo archive. So if you are on our Yahoo groups back in the day, everyone now has access to 864 kind of emails, or more or less, and you can kind of search through that, just like with our roundtables. So over on our W0TX.org/nets, you'll see a Learning Net Yahoo archive, and you can search through that. From years and years worth of stuff. So trying to bring more stuff that our club has done throughout the years back to light here. So with that, I'll throw it out to the group here. I know there's a couple more people that had traffic here. But does anybody have any comments, questions in regards to what we've spoken about so far? Volunteer opportunities, our website, past nets, things online, please come there. One quick last thing here, our learning nets, again, youtube.com/Denver Radio Club. I'm trying to make, hopefully YouTube fixes itself for our channel, but On our learning nets, there's now timestamps. So if you want to just skip a whole bunch of content and go right to whatever you want, you can just go ahead and click on that timestamp and based on the description. So hopefully we'll see some chaptering here in YouTube, but right now it's not working as correctly as it should. So, but much easier to see the things that you want quicker. With that, we'll throw it over to KE0NRE. Jim with traffic. The net is yours. Go ahead.
KE0NRE here. I'd also like to join Jonathan and others complimenting the Denver Radio Club and you, Daron, on the redesign of the club's website. It really is attractive now and much more useful than it used to be. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but it certainly is easy on the eyes and a pleasure to navigate. But the question I had for the group tonight was, I'm kind of curious about the 1.25 meter band, 220 or 222 megahertz. I know that there's, in the Denver area, the repeater space for picking new repeater frequencies is rather limited, and we've got a number of repeaters on 2 meters and 70 centimeters. But I think there's probably only 1 or 2 repeaters on the 1.25 meter band, and I was curious about 2 things. Why hasn't there been more use of that band, and why aren't there more HTs and base stations, mobile units, that are able to take advantage of it? So with that, I'll toss it back to the net. KE0NRE.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Good question there, KE0NRE, Jim. 1.25 meter band, 220 megahertz. Yeah, we have a couple of those within the Colorado area. Not too many. Yeah, the Denver Radio Club has one, and not too much use of it, unfortunately, and. Yeah, why don't we see more availability of transceivers for that band? Good question. You know, similar conversation with maybe popularity of DMR Brandmeister or their different digital modes, and or you really don't see 1.25 meter really built in. You don't see tri-band transceivers too much. I've just seen one really the other day, I think, with 1.25 meter. There are some out there, but you probably won't see them too much from your popular manufacturers, ICOM, Yaesu, whatnot. But some of the more obscure, or Kenwood, things like that, you may not, but some more obscure ones may have some tri-band, including 220 megahertz. So it's just a little bit more obscure, and because of maybe the availability of the repeaters for that band maybe have just been so low that it may just not have been feasible to put another radio in your vehicle or buy another radio or something like that. But that's a good question. We'd have one, and I know our club president likes to speak about that and the usage of it. So check out our 6 meter repeater. It is used now that I'm looking at the wrong one here on the website. Not the 6 meter repeater, excuse me. The 1.25 meter, excuse me. Yeah, we don't have any nets on it. Maybe that might boost some popularity of it. So I've talked there for a few minutes. So K0NRE or anyone else on 1.25 meter usage or transceiver availability or repeater availability, please call now.
HJV.
Yeah, K6HJV. Tom, go ahead.
Yeah, Roger Doran, Tom, K6HJV. That's the same question I had about 1.25 meters a few years ago. One of the major problems with it is that band is not worldwide used. And don't hold my feet to the fire. You've got a computer there. You can probably find the countries where 1.25 meters is used. and that's one of the reasons that the major manufacturers haven't been putting out any equipment for 1 1/4 meters. I know there's a handheld that will handle FM on 1 1/4 meters, but I use a transverter for 1 1/4 meters. I have a net that I check into on Tuesday nights. But yeah, the band is limited usage, and QST's had a couple of articles on that in the past. Hopefully that answers the question. Back to you, Duran, K6HJV.
All right, K6HJV, Tom. Yeah, good follow-up there. Appreciate that. Yeah, I wasn't really aware of, it's not really a widespread usage internationally. So, yeah, that might limit its usage as well. So, yeah, even narrowing down even more the funnel there. So, yeah, I'll have to look up some QST articles here and... yeah, it looks like some brief information here. Why is 1 1/4 meter amateur band not available in Europe? This was from 3 years ago. Let me drop here real quick.
Comment. S.t.e.m.
All right, yeah, I'll come back to this here in just a minute. Yeah, K0 S.t.e.m. Jonathan, go right ahead.
I have to point out that the manufacturers also limit power to, I think it's 1.25 watts or 1.5 watts. It's very underpowered.
All right, K0 S.t.e.m. Jonathan. Yeah, good response there as well. I know the very few transceivers that I've looked at, it seemed like it was low on that band specifically. I'll have to see if I can find that something here, but that's another good response as to why it's not so popular, is maybe because you're quite limited into the power output.
Well, I'm Drone. I apologize, but will interject again. Besides power output, lack of repeaters. There are several in the Denver area, and a couple of years ago, a number of friends of mine, I'd call them ham radio friends, they started doing an experiment with 1 1/4 and 220 here in the Denver area, and they couldn't find anybody else to get on it and talk with them. K0 S.t.e.m.
All right. Yeah. All great points there. K0 S.t.e.m. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Limited amount of radios, low power output, limited amount of repeaters. All will result in a low user base. That's a pretty obvious thing to see. So, yeah, sometimes people flock to certain things, and it just maybe just doesn't see its right time of day, or maybe it's not made for. Maybe we're not using it right. Who knows? So, yeah. All good information there. So S.t.e.m. and everyone who brought things up there, 220 megahertz band there, 1 1/4 meter band. So NRE or anyone else on that topic, please call now.
NRE comment?
Yeah, KE0 NRE. Go ahead.
I was just looking at the Wikipedia page about the 1 1/4 meter band, and it really just exists in ITU region 2, so that's North, South, and Central America. And there are portions of that band that are used or usable for amateur use that differ slightly depending on where you are in Region 2. But, from listening to the discussion tonight, it sounds like this is a bit of a chicken and an egg problem, that, the band isn't used that much, and therefore equipment's not being massively made to take advantage of it. And because there's not a whole lot of equipment that easily takes advantage of it, the band's not being used. So I wonder if we're putting ourselves in a position where this band is going to be reallocated to somebody else who is going to make good use of it at some point in the future. Back to net, KE0NRE.
I'd like to make a quick comment, if I could. KE0SUM.
All right, good summary there as well. NRE, appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, if we don't use it, we lose it, and we've seen that here in the United States and outside with allocations. So yeah, KE0SUM, go ahead.
Well, I think Jim has hit it on the nail on the head. I think it could be reallocated just due to lack of use. And I was studying it a while back, and it seemed like in the northeastern United States it was more well used, but I don't remember for sure. But you also look at the lack of repeaters. The Denver area has how many VHF repeaters? 20 or more, I suppose, and a lot of those aren't used. So I don't know why you can keep up the 220 machines. I guess love of the band. KE0SUM, back to you, Drone.
All right, KE0SUM, Jonathan, this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, yeah, good follow-up there. Yeah, at least according to Repeater Book. 406 repeaters total, Colorado. 144 2-meter repeaters and 226 70-centimeter repeaters, and 13 1.25 meter repeaters. So, yeah, at least according to Repeater Book there, the numbers are in favor of VHF, UHF, obviously, and yeah, I'm sure this is probably a topic that's been brought up and maybe lost and forgotten, but yeah, we maybe need to rethink what we use the 1.25 meter band for, and we look at its allocation and its usage, look at the band plan and what can be done on it, and maybe we can revitalize that band somehow. So this is K1DBC Net Control. I'll throw it out to the net. Anything else on that topic or anything else so far this evening, please call now. This is K1DBC Net Control. Quickly looking at the ARL band plan here for 1.25 meters. Yeah, it has availability for weak signal modes. So these are things probably like FT8 or FT4 or Whisper or all sorts of things like that potentially. You have to check into that. EME, Earth, Moon, Earth bouncing, propagation and beacons, single sideband, and CW calling frequencies. Weak signal CW is single sideband. Yeah, a lot more than just your typical FM simplex or repeater modes. So yeah, check into that. So 1.25 meters. If we don't use it, we will potentially lose it. So this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, great question there, great comments. If anyone else has anything on that, please call now. This is K1DBC Net Control. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. If you have an Anytone D878 or 868, it does have receive functionality, for that mode, or that band, excuse me. And I don't know if they officially allow you to now transmit on it, but it is just milliwatts of power, so it's not really usable anyway. But yeah, check things out. So this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, good conversation, everyone here so far. Net's gone pretty quickly here. We have another 15, 20 minutes or so. I have a few things I can bring up, but if anybody else has any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else anybody else would like to bring up in regards to what we've spoken about so far, or any other projects you're working on, or any comments, questions, anything else, please call now.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Foxtrot Papa India. I got a question for the net.
KF0 FPI, Ron, go right ahead.
Yeah, while I'm studying to try to get my general, hopefully soon, I've been playing around with C4FM digital, and I noticed we have a repeater, 449.775, that I used like a week ago, and I didn't know if there's any rules and limits with that repeater, and if I can change the room. I don't see any rules or regulations for that repeater on the website, which you've done a great job with, Daron. KF0 FPI, out.
All right, KF0 FEI, Ron, this is Daron, K1DBC. Yeah, I just copied the information from our previous website. Yeah, appreciate everyone mentioning all the other compliments there. As far as I know, yeah, I've just copied over from what we had on our last site. If you hear people on there that are from the club, you might ask that, or if you can hear other people changing it. I don't know specifically, but I'd imagine so. I'd imagine we do allow that, because at least on the DMR Brandmeister side, we can allow at least one of the groups to be allowed to change the rooms, kind of like that. So I don't know specifically, but yeah, I'd like to hear if anybody in the group knows anything on our C4FM digital room repeater. If anybody knows etiquette on that, if it's okay to change their rooms in there, please let us know. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, if it allows you to do it, I think you should be able to do it, because they have these things locked down pretty well. Our technical committee, Bill Rinker, W0TX is recovering from some health issues, so I think he might be a better person to get in contact with. Let me see, tech at W0TX.org, or if you have any other follow-up from him, or contacts for him, that might work as well. So KF0 FPI, Ron, if you or anyone else has any other follow-up on our C4FM repeater, go ahead.
Yeah, this is KF0 FPI. It'll let me change the room. I just want to make sure I'm not stepping on anybody's toes. And I always change the room back to the W0TX, but I'll listen to Kansas City Wide and or America Link and use them to make contacts. I just want to make sure that it's there for our use. That's it. Out.
This is K1DBC. It is there for your use. It exactly is for that purpose. Yes. I can say wholeheartedly that is what the club's intent with our repeaters are, whether it be our analog or digital Brandmeister or C4FM. They want us to utilize these repeaters as much as we can. So yes, unless you hear otherwise, I would say that is the intent. This is K1DBC Net Control.
FBI here. Every time I monitor it, nobody's using it, and I asked for if anybody's using this repeater, and I never get a response, so it'll let me change the room, and I've just been playing around with it a little bit. KF0FBI out.
All right, KF0FPI. Yeah, that's good to hear. Not a problem. Yeah, if it's not being utilized, it's just sitting there. So yeah, glad to hear you're getting some use out of it. So yeah, that is awesome to hear. Yeah, new digital modes are really awesome, and allows for linkage to around the world. So that's awesome to be able to make contacts here in the Denver metro area. So yeah, check out our webpage, W0TX.org/repeaters. You can see all of our repeater information and see the repeater we were just talking about there, the 449.775 Yaesu digital repeater, C4FM. So our W0TX room 40931, and I'm sure more others out there. So this is K1DBC Net Control. Utilize our repeaters. Because that is what they are out there for. This is K1DBC Net Control. I'll throw it out to the group. Any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else so far for this evening's net, please call now.
Well, if you're not bored with me yet, I do have another question, probably mostly for Fred. Kilo Echo Zero, Sierra Uniform Mike.
All right, yeah, not a problem. KE0SUM, Jonathan, go right ahead.
I just not sure you're as big of an HF guy as Fred, but I was curious. My radios have, of course, I usually use just single sideband SSB, but you have the other options, CW and a couple things, but then there's AM. I was wondering if, Fred, have you ever talked to anybody in a while just switching on AM, and did you have to figure out the contact information? I've just never done it, and I'm curious.
W0TX repeater.
A0JK. It's been a while since I've done any operating on AM, but I tell you, it sounds so much better than any of the other modes. But the big issue there is that you're using both sides of the carrier, unlike sidebands only using half. And with the availability of spectrum in the bands, it has been kind of phasing itself out. But there is, in the band plan, you'll find areas where they are designated for AM operation. And if you look for some of the nets that are still using AM, you might give it a listen and see what the activities are. But it is really, ever since the advent of single sideband and the additional usage of the spectrum, it has been kind of slowly phasing itself out. But there's a designated area for it, but I know there's the sideband folks don't recognize it. But the thing I would suggest is look up on the internet for activity nets that use it the times that they're on the air. Give it a listen. Give it a listen. AA0JK.
I'll do that, Fred. KE0SUM.
All right, good question there, KE0SUM. Great follow up. Appreciate that, Fred A0JK. Yeah, AM net operate or AM HF nets. Yeah, allocation as mentioned on the ARL page, which I have closed. Let's see. Yeah, your normal bands, 2 meter up to 160 meters. There are some small allocations there, but yeah, AM probably is more bandwidth, but sounds a lot better. So. Yeah, that's interesting to hear. I know a lot of aviation usage within AM bands, and I think some religious services occur in AM bands, still things like that. So, yeah, interesting to hear. K0SUM, this is K1WC Net Control. Yeah, or anybody else, I'll throw it out to the other net. Anybody on AMHF operations or nets, please call now.
I'll make a quick comment I think Fred might find interesting, KE0SUM. You don't have to do anything different with your antenna. You just switch to AM mode.
That's affirmative. Just a button on the front of your radio. AA0JK.
All right, sounds good there. Yep, just another mode, just like single sideband or upper sideband or lower sideband or FM. Yeah, it's just another option there on your radio. Yep. All right. Yeah, we have another 5-10 minutes or so here. Does anybody else have any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for this evening's net? Please call now. All right, real quick here. Recent items for sale or wanted on our webpage, W0TX.org/trade. Somebody is selling a Collins receiver, S573 Bravo Collins receiver. Not working currently, was bought by from QRZ. You can contact Jim, K0FNR, so link on there to contact him. And another post here is somebody wanting an ICOM 9700 for Summits on the Air. Another Jim here, KC0TRK. So get in contact with him. Again, you can place your own ads on our webpage if you want for sale or wanted. So check those things out.
Comment.
Yeah, A0JK, Fred, go ahead.
Yeah, back to the 1 1/4 meter topic. I know my Alenco here is rated outputs of 25, 10, and 5 watts. I got to look up here and see what this power limitation that was mentioned earlier is all about. But that seemed a little bit low. But my Alenco is for that band is rated at 5, 10, and 25 watts. Just a comment, AA0JK.
All right, A0JK, Fred, this is Drone K1DBC. Okay, good to hear on that Alenco device, transceiver on that band as well. So, yeah, interesting, very cool.
And for NYX, 2 comments or answering questions previously?
Yeah, and for NYX, Sarah, yeah, please go right ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to give evidence again to the power limitation on the 222 megahertz band. I've got the VX6R from Yaesu, which can do transmit, and it is limited to 1.5 watts instead of the 2 meter, 70 centimeter 5 watts. So another vote of confidence in the power limit on that 1 1/4 meter band. Second thing that I was going to mention back to the question about using AM is, I'm not sure if this is true of every transceiver. It very well may be, but on my own transceiver, using AM also does really reduces the output power, since a lot more of that power, how I understand it, gets used to power the bandwidth of the other sideband and transmit out a carrier instead of single sideband and suppressed carrier, which allows all your power to go into modulating the voice and none of it into the carrier at the other sideband. So AM might not get out as far as using single sideband. Back to net control.
Comment.
All right, and for NYX, Sarah, yeah, thank you for the follow-up there. Some information about the power limitations on 220 megahertz, as well as the output power for AM might be limited as well. So that's why you might see better output using a single sideband mode. So yeah, very good follow-up there. Really appreciate that. So yeah, A0JK Fred, go right ahead.
Yeah, AA0JK. Yeah, back in the days of the boat anchors or the tube radios. Now, if you really want to hear a sweet-sounding signal there off of an AM transmission, if you ever have the opportunity to play with any of the older radios, you'll notice a big difference in the audio quality of some of the other radios versus this equipment that's being sold today. And back in those days, power was no problem, was not an issue. My Heathkit line has plenty of power. We never actually had any issues there compared to the equipment that we have here today. Not to mention that we had a full gallon sitting next to it there that would switch on. But the differences between past history and the equipment we have to deal with today. AA0JK, back to net control.
All right, AA0JK Fred, this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah. A tube radio's sound versus digital or analog radio, a record versus a CD or a tape or whatever it may be nowadays. So, yeah, different audio abilities via different technology, and we have to work within our limitations within ham radio, and it may not reproduce what you may potentially hope it may do, but very, very cool stuff there. So this is K1DBC Net Control. We're nearing the end of the net, not a hard stop here, but if anybody else has any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for this evening's net, please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Again, I have a couple things here I can very quickly touch on, but I'll throw it out to the net. This will probably be like the second to last call or so. If you have any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else for this evening's net, please call now.
I did have one for Fred Drone, KU0SUM. I think Fred grew up as an audiophile. I think he has it defined here on audio. I'm just thinking that. Never met him, but I like him.
I just reminiscing here, Jonathan, about what sometimes we refer to as the good old days. But we actually living in those days and working with the equipment, we are able to make the comparison of then and now. And we got a lot of great things have evolved in the equipment since the days of when we were actually able to and enjoyed building our own equipment, and the quality factor comparison of then and now. You have to be a old-timer to be able to appreciate some of the differences. AA0JK.
Can I add a quick comment, Drone?
Yeah, go right ahead, KZUSM.
No, one thing is that since I'm an old audiophile with stereo systems and speakers and all that, my two kids who are, what are they now, 31 and 33, but they grew up with all my albums and a good sound system, and they have a discerning ear. Much better than current audio, in my opinion, but it's my opinion. Back to that.
All right, this is Daron K1 DBC Net Control. Yep. Yeah, we may need to do some sort of comparison. We'll try to maybe bring that. Maybe that'll be an article or something that we talk about as a comparison of audio throughout the years. So, very cool stuff there. So, yeah, this is Daron K1 DBC Net Control. This will probably be the last call. Anyone else? Any other comments, questions, check-ins for the net? Please call now.
Yeah, this is A0RH. I just wanted to plug the Discord a little bit. We've had a couple people filtering in, and it's been nice to see new faces in there.
All right, really do appreciate that. A0RH, yeah, right on our webpage. And I'll probably just try to make a link. Eventually, probably it'll just be W0TX.org/Discord. But if you've ever talked in a chat room in the past, this is a really awesome opportunity. Local ham radio operators. Yeah, really awesome just to have a lot of people just chatting on here. So whether it be a text or video or images, people are showing their stations, their opportunities, things they're doing. So really cool stuff there. Yeah, AE0RH, really do appreciate you making that statement there. Yeah, W0TX.org, right under our social media menu right at the top. You'll see Discord. And yeah, it's really lively. So yeah, really appreciate everyone being in there. A volunteer opportunity I probably haven't discussed with all of you directly on Discord, but we're looking for moderators for our social media. So, I'll probably try to bring things up here with you all soon on that. So really do appreciate everyone on there. So AE0RH, this is K1DBC. I really appreciate that. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah. W0TX on all social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Looking for help administrating and Discord to mention as well, administrating and moderating. So if anybody out there has any want to help with that, please let us know, as well as with our website. So if you have any experience with those or with WordPress, we're also looking for help with our webpage as well. Let me know. K1DBC at W0TX.org. Let's see. Yeah, really appreciate all of that. I was playing a couple minutes of a podcast earlier on before the net, and I'll probably play a few minutes of that. Where's My Jetpack podcast from Stack Network. Really awesome. So this is K1DBC Net Control. I'll put one more call out there. Last final call, last minute comments, questions, check-ins, please let me know. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, plenty of things to get in contact with us. If you want to get in contact with us, Elmer, W0TX.org, all the social media, Denver Radio Club, Discord, as we mentioned, youtube.com/Denver Radio Club. We've streamed this net, past nets, past meetings, so if you missed anything, please don't hesitate to check those things out. Again, we're looking for net control operators for this net as well. Either you can find it under the volunteer page, W0TX.org/volunteer. If you want to volunteer, there are no commitments, as we've kind of discussed. Wednesday nights, let me know, K1DBC at W0TX.org if you if for any assistance you need. But sign up for a slot, 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. or so. Automated check-ins online if you want, but let me know. So we are looking for net control operators. Briefly, didn't mention K0LAI at ARL.net. Get in contact with him. We're looking for people to, or topics to give for our Wednesday night, our monthly meetings. So get in contact with us. Whether it be a 15-minute meeting or a 60-minute meeting, we can make things work out. So K0LAI at ARL.net, W0TX.org for more information on our club. This evening we had a total of 18 check-ins. Really appreciate everyone who checked in. Appreciate our Elmers and the Denver Radio Club for allowing us to use their repeaters. Our meeting takes place online, Denver Radio, W0TX.org, 6 p.m. for our Elmer session, 7 p.m. for the meeting. So next week, please join us for the next Learning Net. With that, this is Daron K1DBC. I'll go ahead and place the repeaters back into normal mode.
W0TX repeater PL on.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Great to hear everyone out there. Get in contact with us however you want. Email, social media, over the air, phone numbers, everything is all available online. So this is K1DBC Net Control. Again, great to hear everyone. 7.3 if you're on the YouTube. I'm going to play a couple minutes of this pretty cool podcast here, Where's My Jetpack, to take us out. So with that, 7.3, I am clear. Everyone have a good evening. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining me here. Where's My Jetpack? Put on by Sarah Kudus and Luke Moore. So let's check out. This is a 12 minutes.
K1DBC. I have a question. K0SUM.
Let's see if I can do this. Yeah, KE0SUM. Go right ahead.
I think I've been talking with you for like 3 years. How long have you been doing this net?
This is K1DBC. Yeah, it seems like quite a while now. I don't know actually to the date. I know I've been streaming it online for at least 2 years, and at least an additional year or two without that. So at least 3 to 4 years now. I don't know to the date, but it's been working this net for quite a while now. Yep.
Well, you and I have met a couple of times and know each other, and you've listened to my nets over the years, but. Would I fit in doing a little substitution? I'm not quite the same guy you are, and I shouldn't be.
All right, yeah, not a problem. Yeah, just let me know what times are available, what dates are available, and I can make that work out. So yeah, no YouTube required or anything like that. So yeah, just let me know.
That was a really quick yes. Yeah, I can copy call signs, and I'm pretty good with doing conversations, and yours is kind of a check-in net, which makes me comfortable. So I'll think about it. I'll get back with you soon. But more importantly, say, what are you going to do if you take? Are you going to go on vacation, or come on, Jerome, you must go on vacation.
Incredible opportunity. So Bill was mowing the inventor of the jetpack's lawn, and then he ended up flying one, and he ended up being pretty good at it, because when you're 19 years old, you're not scared of much.
No, but I mean, I think we should probably kind of clarify for people listening the expectation of what we mean when we talk about a jetpack at this point, because I think there is a tendency when we talk about this and use these words to think, oh, it's like the Rocketeer, that movie in the 90s, or it's like, James Bond or whatever. But at this point, not to pour water over it, but is it fairly primitive at this point?
It is fairly primitive. It only goes a few hundred meters. It's still, would you go on one?
Well, the thing I don't like about it, Sarah, is this, right? I like the idea of it, as I've already said. I'm fascinated and very, very seduced by the idea of being able to fly. But then you're talking about chucking a load of hydrogen peroxide and all these kind of terrible chemicals on my back and setting fire to them, and there's no way of getting out of it, and it starts to make me feel scared.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it works. You've got nitrogen and hydrogen peroxide. They mix together in a chamber. That kind of acts like a catalyst, and you get this stream of pressure, and then that is what takes you, enables you to take off, so to speak. And you actually have a tether on, first of all. So a tether strapped around your waist, and you have this. So people broke limbs and injured themselves, certainly. And you can't go very far. But it's interesting you mentioned James Bond, because Bill Suter was actually in James Bond. He was the guy flying the jetpack in Thunderball. So he made a career out of being a stuntman. He flew at the 1984 Olympics.
See, that's amazing. And that's what, listen, sorry to cut in, but that is what really gets to the nub of it for me, right? I don't remember the 1984 Olympics, and I know you don't because you're younger than me. But I remember my dad talking about it quite a lot, and just how impressed everyone was with, for those who haven't seen the clip, Bill flies a jetpack across from one side of the stadium to the other in the opening ceremony, and it looks amazing, right? Now, I understand there are limits.
Podcast from the Stack Network. So, yeah, appreciate everyone watching, and you all have a good evening.